Hey everyone, I'm your host Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and today I'm going to interview a very incredible guest on the show. This man is awesome, and he is in an industry that I am learning and growing and loving every inch about it. But this man has a true passion for what he does. He's changing lives, changing families, and he's changing legacy. He's giving people hope and a better place to make their future come alive. Those future homeowners who find it just absolutely impossible to get into the home of their dreams. So I can't wait to introduce this guy. You got to stay tuned. Here we go. Everyone, I'm your host Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and today I have the founder, CEO, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Franco Perez. He's the founder of Franco Mobile Homes, and he has made it his life mission. Him and his team, he's gotten his whole team on board with this mission, y'all, to address the affordable housing crisis plaguing the United States, plaguing the world, and he's bringing innovative strategies, solutions, and problem solving and helping us get to a better place. This visionary entrepreneur, Mr. Franco, personally experienced this what he's talking about, what some of the things he's going to talk about today. He's personally experienced this coming from the Philippines, coming to the United States, starting in San Jose, California, at the age of 11, and he takes off. His story is one of passion, one of it makes you sad, it makes you happy, it takes you all over the place. I can't do this man justice, so I can't hold this man back. Without further ado, help me welcome to the stage the incredible Mr. Franco Perez.
Wow,
welcome.
So amazing. Wow, that intro is powerful, and I really appreciate it, Marcus. Excited to be here.
It's you, man. You did all the work. It's a pleasure to have you, Mr. Perez. You are a hero. You're my hero. And today we're going to talk about mobile home investing, but I don't want to skip over the significance of your journey. Sir, you came here to the United States, started in San Jose, California. How was that journey? How did that evolve into making you the man you are today?
Wow. Yeah, I guess long story short, my parents immigrated here when it was me and my younger sister at around 11 or 12 years old. Grew up here, had this weird situation where my dad was the main breadwinner of the family. They divorced. He fled the country. And then at around 17, 18 years old, I had to kind of leave school and start working full time. And I remember it so vividly because it was the hardest point of my life. I had to just save up money just to pay for rent and work long hours just to survive. And that phase of my life was so difficult. And I know there's so many people out there that are currently going through that same situation. And basically, long story short, became from doing graphic design for a real estate company, asked for a raise. They couldn't pay more for marketing, and got into being a real estate agent. Did pretty well doing that. And then I realized I hated being a real estate agent because unfortunately I had to turn away people that were in the shoes that I was in. I'd have to say, hey, you don't make enough. You don't have enough down payment. You don't have enough money. And it just hurt me so much to have to say that to people. And I spent my life trying to figure out how can we make home ownership more accessible for people, and came across mobile homes and come to find out it's not what we believe. There's a lot of false stigmas around it, and there's a lot of great financial benefits and a lot of great stories that come out of mobile homes that allow people to get that stepping stone out of that rental rat race and into home ownership. And got into helping people do that. And now we convert a lot of old style mobile homes to beautiful 1,900 square foot, 3-bed, 2-bath homes now today, and it's been an amazing journey, a long, tough journey to get to where we're at, and now proud of our team for doing all that they do at scale and repeating and creating great successful stories over and over. So it's just, even thinking about it and looking at it now, it gives me goosebumps.
It's the journey. It's the journey. It's the looking back, right? Looking back to where you started to where you are today, and you can speak to this. The lives you've changed, right? I can imagine that's hard to tell a family, hey, I can't really help you, right? To now being able, and is that the secret sauce right there? Why is it, out of all the numerous asset classes in real estate, right, multifamily, apartment complex, single family, duplexes, triplexes, commercial space, what is the secret sauce to mobile home that you found that really allows you to really change the narrative for families and allow families to get into that home, their probably in some cases their first home?
Yeah, well, I took a long time trying to analyze the whole real estate industry itself, and I think what it one of the big problems, and I'll shoot an example in our area, but the numbers might not match up with other areas of the country. Our area is a very high cost of living and high cost of real estate. If you think about it, in our area, it's about $3,500 a month to rent a 2-bedroom apartment. And if someone wanted to purchase a single family home, the median price is $1.6 million, right? And how do you ever dream of owning a piece of real estate if you're stuck in that rat race and continuously paying rent? And unfortunately, when I was in the situation I was in, I wasn't really taught a lot of the benefits of home ownership and why it was important. And come to find out, every time we pay for rent, all we're really paying for is temporary shelter for that month. And when you're paying a mortgage or paying towards a piece of real estate and homes and a home, you get way more benefits out of that. You get tax benefits, you get appreciation, you get to leverage the loan to help build your net worth and own an asset. And these benefits are only accessible to the rich and the wealthy. And how do we create more opportunities of those benefits for those middle class families, those low income families that want to get a step ahead, right? It's a huge barrier. There's this, how do I call this wealth gap that's spreading and spreading further and further. And what I love about mobile homes is that it's a stepping stone in between. It's much like a hybrid version of ownership. A third of your payment goes towards paying a space rent, but 2/3 of that is going towards an asset that you own at a much more affordable and attainable price, right? So if I want to purchase a $1.6 million home and I don't have any assets or family that I can inherit from, I would have to come up with a huge 6-digit down payment. 10% of 1.6 million is $160,000. But if I were to purchase a mobile home in this area, average is about $300,000. That would be $30,000 that I'd have to come up with, which is actually more accessible and more attainable to be able to get a loan, to get all of those benefits at an entry level cost. And let's say we're finding a lot of families purchase one of these, they build their equity after 4 or 5 years, and then now they have money to be able to purchase into single family home ownership, right? And that's exactly what we're guiding people through education, through our YouTube channel, and what we're doing firsthand for people as well. And it's just been amazing being able to help every single family that we can.
Absolutely. So it's a step up process. It's a graduation process. It start with the mobile home, right? Let's get you in that. Let's fill that wealth gap. Let's fill that gap. Let's get you into your first home, you and your family. Now y'all have an affordable place to stay, and then graduate on to the next level, which is whatever it is you want. But you've built the foundation with them first. So that's super powerful and that's super unique there. I want to, and you mentioned this earlier, and forgive my ignorance, right? When I think mobile home, right, and this is what you're fighting against, there's a stigma I think trailers, I think trash, garbage, the messiest, drugs somewhere scattered around. Help me pretend you're talking to me, right? I'm a first time home buyer. What would you say to me to help me fight that gap, that stigma that I
Yeah.
have in my mind about mobile homes? Because it's not a pretty picture.
Yeah, no, that's completely true, and that's most of our country, right? And I feel the thing is, most of our perception around mobile homes is only from the media, from Hollywood, from TV shows, from Breaking Bad. We think criminals, we think bad quality homes, we think the lowest of the low, like you said, druggies, and that sort of thing. Where, you know, we should try to actually. We should realize that just like in apartments, like there are bad apartment complexes that are very low quality with bad people, but there's also luxury style apartments, right? It doesn't mean we should write off all apartments as bad. We should understand that there's a full spectrum, and that's the same with mobile homes. There are bad quality parks, but there's a full spectrum of mobile home parks. There's amazing resort style mobile home parks that have saunas, spas, tennis courts, and are very beautiful places to live, and perfect use cases for a lot of families, right? So that's how we have to understand it, first of all. And then the other is understanding the financial element of it too, right? Do a lot of stigmas feel that a lot of associations feel that all mobile homes depreciate in value, and we're finding that's so far from true as well. We have a lot of bad myths that these are built very low quality homes, where if you see our YouTube channel, and if you we actually work with HUD and building the quality and the standards of how safe and how great the quality of the construction of these homes are being built. But I guess first step is really taking a look into it, and that's why our YouTube channel has been great for us. I can talk about it all day, but until you actually see visually how these are built, until you see what they look like, what the communities look like, then you'll start to realize that, man, maybe this is something that should be a consideration. It's not just renting and not just owning. There are options in between, right? And seeing that as an option is really our biggest thing.
Absolutely. So I wanna see if I could sneak in the numbers here, the actual hard numbers. So my mortgage, right, on my house, right, and it varies, right? You guys, it varies from state to state. But my friend lives in California. They live in Hollywood actually, and their mortgage is what you said, $3,500 a month, right? Compare that to the cost of a mobile home. What would be my supposed mortgage payment for the average home in San Jose,
Yeah.
California? What would be what's the
So
comparison there?
I'm familiar. We have a team, or we have people in LA and San Diego as well. So what I mentioned was like a 2-bedroom apartment is very commonly like $3,500 a month for rent, right? I would assume if they're paying a mortgage in that Hollywood area, it might be higher than our average. But in our area, $1.6 million, you're looking at about an $8,000 payment monthly, right? Including like taxes and insurance and that sort of thing. So with that, it's a huge leap to go from renting to purchasing a single family home. Now, if we go into the payment structure of buying a mobile home, for example, let's say it's $300,000, we put about $30,000 down. With that, your monthly payment, you have a space rent, which is typically about $1,000 a month, and your mortgage is about $2,500 a month. So it's almost equivalent to what you're paying for rent. Now, you just have to do a purchase and you pay that same amount monthly, but it makes a huge difference for that person in the long term, because of what we mentioned, the equity, the appreciation, the tax benefits, what they get to write off, and that sort of thing, right?
It's yours.
So the payments are almost exactly that. It's yours. And the payments are almost equivalent. Or if you get a brand new or like a much nicer, newer home, it would be a little more than that, right? But at least it's something that's attainable. And unfortunately, what's happening is the only people that can attain a single family home in Hollywood or in San Jose are those that have whether they have parents that already have a home and can leverage their equity. But there's a lot of families out there that don't have that type of option, right? And we want to create opportunities, and we want to, you know, that's why people move to America, is because there's a lot of great opportunities financially, and financial freedom is really the new freedom that we need to protect. So,
For sure.
yeah.
What kind of financing options are available? Are they similar to if I wanted that $1 million house in California? Are they first-time home buyer programs, or are there any special programs that are unique to buying a mobile home versus, you know, a regular home? Are there any special options there with banking that you've noticed with you and your team when you guys are helping these families close on these homes?
Yeah, good question. And with that, it was only until recently, I guess before, there was not a lot of options. And we're actually, our team has a loan department that helps with this type of thing as well. But what you'll commonly find is 20 to 25-year loans. You'll see 10% down. And then with that, it spreads the mortgage. Regular conventional real estate loans, there's always going to be a lot better, more options because it's more well known and that sort of thing. But when it comes to these types of loans, there are new loan programs around in mobile home parks. It's called chattel loans is what they call it. And we actually do a lot of lobbying around it through the government, and it's only getting better.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Told y'all, Franco Perez, y'all, spilling the tea on Gentleman Style Podcast Show. We have one quick commercial break. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for a reliable, professional trucking and logistics service, you've come to the right place. Musa Trucking is a veteran-owned and operated premier transportation provider that can help with all of your trucking and logistics needs. Musa is revolutionizing the trucking industry through strategic partnerships, the development of core personnel, and the use of cutting-edge technology. Our inventory system ensures that cargo ends up divided into the right trucks and reaching the correct destination. Our drivers are dedicated to transporting goods efficiently and safely. Contact us today to get started by visiting the website on the screen or by calling 757-756-5246.
Back to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. We have Mr. Franco Perez, the man, the myth, the legend, spilling the tea on mobile homes and owning why you and me and we should own a mobile home, especially if we're first-time homeowners, and why this is breaking the affordable housing crisis. This is the key. This is the cheat code, right, to getting into your home of your dreams, right? And it's not the stereotypical trash park trailer, none of that. These homes are beautiful. They're luxury style. They have all the same. What kind of amenities are in some of these mobile homes? Are they the same type of amenity? Like, do I have a dog park? Can I have a pool in my mobile home community? What kind of amenities are in these mobile homes?
Yeah, almost. It's always going to depend on each park is a bit different. There's a lot of things that you mentioned that I want that sparked a lot in my head. But as far as park amenities, almost always they have a swimming pool, a clubhouse where you can kind of, if you have a birthday for your kid and you want to use that as an area for you to host that birthday party for them, it's very much like an apartment. You can rent out these areas or oftentimes just use those areas. They'll have libraries, spas, and that sort of thing. But yes, what's common a lot lately is the dog parks, the tennis courts, and that sort of thing. But the lifestyle is very, very nice. And we do a lot of consulting for park owners as well to help them understand how they can boost the community elements as well. But when you talked about the entry level side, it sparked a memory of mine, because a lot of, it's unfortunate, but when we tend to get a lot of a lot of information from school, and we aren't taught in school the importance of building our net worth, of building assets, and how do we get there. And unfortunately, it's kind of an unfair advantage, because when I was low income, all my friends were low income, and we go make decisions on the same knowledge. And then when you look at wealthy families, they have friends that are wealthy families. They get great advice. They get ownership opportunities and that sort of thing. And how do I say this? That's why we're very passionate about financial education and learning, how do we tweak our money management? How do we shift just from our mindset from renting into start owning and building our net worth? And this became a perfect tool for people to take that step ahead, right? And then another part of the problem of why affordable housing is such a big topic is that we're hitting a big housing crisis, and it just isn't big enough for people to start to bring attention to, but the cost of construction is getting harder and harder and more expensive. Most of our construction labor is 40 years old and older, and they're becoming an age where they're starting to think about retirement, and we don't have enough young people getting into home ownership. I'm sorry, young people getting into construction building, and that's going to become a big issue as well. And if we don't innovate and change the way we build homes, we're going to see that pain come later down the line. And that being said, I want to bring up this analogy, because if we think about it, cars were only built for the rich and wealthy back then. And it was only until we were able to start building these in a factory on an assembly line that we were able to build it very cost effective so that everyone can afford it. And that's exactly what we need to be doing with home ownership and with construction as well. And that's exactly how we're building these homes, is on an assembly line in a streamlined fashion, by lowering cost and by lowering the cost of labor and increasing the output of what these homes come out to. We're able to cut the cost on how these homes are being built and increase the effectiveness and efficiency. And in the end, it's allowing us to build homes that are cheaper for everybody. And lately, that's been a huge thing for our country. And that's why we're starting to see a lot of this modular building, this manufactured housing. And that's exactly what we're doing in these mobile home parks as well.
That makes sense. That makes complete sense, right? It's cheaper, it's cost effective. You talk about the education of homeowners and getting them into their home, but it takes the mindset shift, right? We got to shift up here before we take that next leap, that next jump into, their first home. Super powerful. Yeah. And so how do you go ahead?
Well, I was going to say is like the one common mistake that I see happening is that they just, it's never painful enough to realize what they're spending on rent. And they feel like one day I'm going to make so much more and be able to one day purchase a single family home, where unfortunately that single family home price, it's a moving target. And and we need steps in between to get us ahead, right? And that's the key thing, is that it's a step to help your personal cash flow be improved a little bit more, as a for now situation. And that's why what we're doing is it makes a big difference for a lot of people. It allows for people to just get a step out of that rental rat race and then start growing a little bit better without having to work more hours, without having to increase job pay, right?
Yeah. It's like you said, it's that step. We need that step. So while you're working for that single family home, you can work on your credit, you can work on your financial education, but you're also acclimating to paying that cost, that maintenance cost, that mortgage, right? The cutting the grass, if that's not included, or whatever the case may be. But you're getting acclimated to the next step up without the big upfront costs. I remember one person, they said they bought their house, but they were working so much that they were never home, right? And you don't want that. You want to enjoy your investment, right? You want to enjoy your home. But if you're working and you're never home, what's the point, right? You can't enjoy the pool. You can't enjoy the dog park. You can't enjoy any of the things that you just got. $1.2 million, $8,000 a month. You'll literally be working just to keep the lights on. In that case, I feel like that's how I feel with that. In what should I have prepared before making an appointment with you or your team? What should someone have ready, paperwork-wise, mindset-wise? What do I need to have prepared before I set that appointment with you and your team to start talking about purchasing my first mobile home?
Yeah, well, first off, how do I say this? I did want to mention that those numbers and stuff, the model that we're building is really a model that will work in any metro area, whether it's Atlanta, Austin, or Las Vegas, that sort of thing, right? These numbers and prices aren't something that's just tied to everywhere nationwide, But the key thing that I want people to understand is that it's the house price. Like in Austin, median purchase price for single family homes more like $600,000, and then their mobile homes are more like $150,000, and then their rent could be about $1,400 or so, right? And understanding that these models can work in different areas, but generally, I mean, our team is proud of having an always accessible line on our YouTube channel, and we have a lot of conversations started through there. We have a texting line where you can always ask for free advice. I don't want people to feel intimidated to reach out to us for advice, right? Everyone's situation is always going to be different. You could have a real conversation with us and we could advise you that you shouldn't start yet, right? And we can guide you towards, hey, let's save up a down payment and then let's continue this conversation later. But there isn't really much that you have to have prepared. But if you do want to have something prepared, is, I guess, see your income statements, your W-2s, that sort of thing. And then we give financial advice around that and what would make sense. I don't want to say that our situation, our mobile homes are always the best answer. We love being truthful about what's the right steps to get someone ahead, right?
Absolutely. You don't want to just walk someone into something that's potentially worse for them. Absolutely. Mr. Franco Perez, y'all. The truth, spilling the tea on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. You can find us anywhere: YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Facebook business page, LinkedIn, and wherever you get your podcast today, and on YouTube channel. Let's put his YouTube channel. You got to go check him out, y'all. Super, super powerful. Changing lives. Homeownership, he said it. Homeownership is the key to wealth building, right? It's the key to net worth, building that network, and starting that legacy. I want you to debunk a myth here, Mr. Franco. Mr. Perez. Is it true, because it's a mobile home, right? The term mobile home means I can take this home with me somewhere? Like, so I can take this home with me? Is that true? Or was that person puffing smoke up my butt?
Well, it's a very common question. It's so funny. I was just on another show as well. This is the same question, but now keep in mind that we build these homes. These are in mobile home parks. And when we build these homes, we actually build them at a much, much higher, heavy duty level. And we really only want it to be classified as a mobile home so that it's not really tied with a real estate element. But we build these homes of high quality, that we build it to be as permanent as could be. So these are built with 2x4s and 2x6 materials and fireproof and weatherproof material on the exterior and that sort of thing. So often our most common homes are built with two different sections and constructed and bolted together. We seal up the drywall, we seal up a roof cap, and they really aren't mobile. They're not on wheels. They're not what you think. I think people think trailers or RVs and something that I can hitch on a car. But if you see our channel, you'll see these are 12-foot high ceilings, flat ceilings that are well constructed. These are quartz countertops. These are stainless steel appliances, laminate floors all throughout. And for us to really move one of these, it would take deconstructing again, and it would take building again the axles and wheels and that sort of thing. But the truth of it is, you never really want to move it. You have value in selling that to another family that might need it as their transitional home later down the line. You would make more by selling it to another entity, just like you would a regular real estate, right? You own the home, and then you'd sell it to another family that needs it later, right? And that's exactly how it's like with these. The homes that we're building are really meant to be permanently there. But they are classified as mobile homes.
That's fair. That's fair. What would you say is the best way to go about that first mobile home? Should I build my mobile home, or should I buy one that's already built? Right? Because there's that stigma when buying your first home. A lot of people say, well, I want the custom stuff. I want this house to be my forever house. So what do you say? Buying an existing one, or building from scratch?
Well, there's no universal answer to that, I'd say. I talk about our new builds, but I also want to talk about the old builds too, right? So, everyone's situation is always going to be different, and that's why our advice is always so catered to that specific person. So, if you're a low income earner and all you can afford is a single wide 1970 home, and that's going to be a great story for you to start building your wealth, then that should be your first step, right? But if you're capable of getting a new custom built luxurious style mobile home, and you're capable financially, then that should be your option, right? But we have a lot of different stories of people that we help, and it's always going to be catered from their backstory. We have a lot of residents that have already been living in these mobile home parks and want to upgrade. They have kids growing, and they need extra rooms and that sort of thing, and they want to replace their old one with a new one. And then we also have a lot of older generation people that actually owned a single family home and want something of less maintenance, less property taxes, less cost, and still want to live in an expensive area, and they're downsizing to mobile homes as well. So there's no real right answer to that question, but it's a great use case for so many different situations, right? And it becomes a great tool for people to have a consideration for people that want a good quality built home, and that's in a great area, right? So, I mean, if you think about it, a lot of people are making big sacrifices just to get into home ownership. They'll buy a really crappy, outdated home that needs a ton of repair just so that they can chase that American dream of home ownership. Whereas for some people, they don't want to deal with that. They can get a brand new, high quality mobile home instead. And that's that's what people should know, that this is also an option.
Love that. Super, super dope. That's powerful, man. That's super, super powerful. Thank you for helping walk us through that point, because you hear it all the time. It's like, well, should I get a new one so that way it's everything that I want? Do I want that 1970s home? What if there's stuff in there that I don't want or don't appreciate? But I can still make that work, and your team counsels and advises on that. So super, super powerful there. Love it, love it, love it. Mr. Perez, what's something I should have asked you that you wanted to share that I didn't ask you? Like, what's something that, think of that young boy, that young girl out in the audience. They're just nervous, right, to make that first step. What would you say to them to encourage them to say, hey, you can do this? What would you say? Take the step into mobile home, that mobile home of your dreams.
Let's say not necessarily mobile homes. I think when you're talking about speaking to the young generations and that sort of thing, you ask what's a question that I feel like would make a difference. I think one thing I want to mention out there and put out to the world is that, hey, don't always chase those cliche job roles or that cliche, I get to make X amount of money a month or a year. But I think there's a lot of people out there that truly are born as caring people and want to create purpose, create a difference. And I think for me, being an agent, a real estate agent, was cool for a while and that sort of thing, but I really wasn't fulfilled. And until I found out that I wanted to make a difference for low-income families and find something that I was passionate about. That allowed for me to become resourceful, to become more hardworking than I ever was. And when you find something that you know is making a difference for others, that creates more energy towards for yourself to be able to grow, to be able to want to learn everything that you can learn about something, to be able to wake up early morning and work late nights. But I think it's those two things. Is one is finding something that you can create an impact for others, and the other is being resourceful as you can. And all the information that I ever learned was through, I didn't go to college. I learned everything through YouTube, through audiobooks, through podcasts, right? And all the information's out there. It's just how resourceful are we to using that information and having the courage to try things out. So I think that's what I want to put out there.
That's powerful. That is powerful. No, that was good. That was really good. I really appreciate that. How did you get started in making that step? What motivated you to buy your first home?
I think what motivated me was going through that pain and going through that struggle. I went through a hard depression phase of just keeping up with rent and understanding that, just trying to learn how to survive. And I know the pain. I can still feel that pain that I went through. And I know that if I could just help one family, I still tear up today when I see one family that was able to purchase their first mobile home, that thought they were never going to be able to own anything in their life. And to me, that's fulfilling enough. And to know that I can do that over and over, it's so rewarding. And the money isn't something that I chase. It's being able to help more and more of those families. And yeah, I lost my train of thought.
No, you're good, man. You're good. It's the power, the emphasis, the passion, y'all. Franco Perez, y'all, the passion behind it. Mr. Perez, how can my audience connect with you? How can we learn more?
Yeah, you could Google us at Franco Mobile Homes. Our YouTube channel has, you can also see our link at www.franco.tv. There you can see our Matterports, our 3D tours of the homes we build. You also can see how these homes are being built, how the communities look. We do park tours, that sort of things. I really urge you to take a look at that and see what these look like and how they're built. So
powerful. Connect, y'all. Super powerful. Check it out, right? Don't let that barrier to entry scare you. Don't be scared. You can do this. You can do this. And Mr. Franco and his team are here to help. Thank you, Mr. Perez. I appreciate you, brother, being here on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Thank you for giving back in this way. Thank you for helping us, my audience, we, and take us to the next level. This has been powerful, brother. I want to say this to you publicly. Don't ever quit. We need you. We need what you're doing. It's helping. It's changing lives for sure.
Oh, thanks, man. Really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And I love what you're doing, sharing this energy and stuff as well.
Absolutely. This is powerful. You are necessary, and we need it. We need what you're doing, man. So thank you again, brother. And thank you all, my audience, for tuning into the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. If this was helpful, if this message, this interview was powerful, connect. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so we can continue to deliver epic interviews and guests like this, Mr. Perez and his team. So connect, and let's put him back on the page. Connect for my audio listeners. That's Franco Mobile Homes. And for his website, that's www.franco.tv. Check it out. Check it out. Like I always end every show, we got to let him go, y'all. He has many more homes to sell and buy and get you into your first home. So like I always end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your family, and always take care of business. This is Marcus, your favorite gentleman, your host, and Mr. Franco Perez, sealing the deal and getting you into your first home. Love you guys. Bye.
Thanks, Marcus. Later.
Absolutely.